Welcome back to the channel. In this new video, there will be 5 stories, and one being a dream. Can you spot which one is the dream story? When I was 10, I moved in with my dad and didn't know anyone except my family. My dad had a friend, a single mom with 3 kids. Fortunately, one of them was a girl 2 years older than me. She was 12 when we met, and we got to know each other over the next couple of years. We weren't close, but we shared the same friends. One night, my friend Rob was hanging out with her and her younger brother. They were alone in the house because their mom was at work. Their mom had been helping a lady through her job and had learned that this lady's sister was recently released from a mental institution. That night, Rob and my friends heard a knock on the door. Thinking it was their mom, who knocked in a specific way, they answered without hesitation. Rob wasn't supposed to be there, so he quickly escaped through a window and ran home. It wasn't their mom at the door, it was the sister of the lady their mom had been helping. She had found out where the family lived and their mom's work schedule from her sister. She entered the house. The details here are unclear, and I'm relieved I don't know them. My friend's younger brother managed to escape to a neighbor's house to call the police. The woman brutally murdered my friend just a week before Christmas, decapitating her and leaving her naked body in the bathtub. She even hid her head, which was later found among the presents. I wasn't allowed to attend her funeral. This incident happened about 15 years ago. Her husband had passed away about a year earlier, but she had been staying active by volunteering at the library. It was winter, so her walk home was during dusk. The library closed at 5 p.m., and there were always extra tasks to finish before everyone left. On this particular night, she declined a ride from another volunteer because she wanted to stay in shape. Her house was about a mile away through a lightly wooded area in South Texas. About halfway home, she noticed someone walking behind her. He was heading in the same direction and gaining on her, which wasn't unusual since she was old and not very fast. However, this man seemed vaguely sinister. They continued walking. Soon, he was right behind her, matching her pace. She knew something was wrong, but she was almost home and could see the top of her driveway. She left her lights on, so it would look like someone was home as she walked in. She just needed to make it another 150 yards. Then 100 yards. All that time, she felt his breath on her neck. Around 50 yards from her house, it happened. A strong hand grabbed her shoulder.
"Okay, Granny, don't turn around. Hand over your purse or I'll cut you."
She stopped for a second, then took a big step forward, turned, and shot the man in the neck with a .38 she kept in her purse. When I was 11, my sister, who is 7 years older, would babysit me when our parents were out. She smoked a lot back then, and our parents made her smoke outside. I would follow her outside, play around, and annoy her. One day, my sister noticed a car at the end of our driveway. It was a white SUV with a bike rack on top and very tinted windows. You couldn't see inside from the side. It stayed there until she went inside, then drove to the end of the road to sit at the church parking lot and wait. When she went out for another smoke, it would return. My sister, being brave, ignored it at first. But the next day, when our parents were out again, the SUV showed up again. It would sit at the end of the driveway, just watching her. I could see from the front window that the driver was watching my sister. She told our father, a sheriff's deputy, and he called the cops to make a complaint. The cops showed up and looked around, but the SUV was gone. Months went by with nothing. Then, about 9 months after it all started, and 4 months since the last sighting, it came back. It became a regular occurrence. One day, my sister was outside smoking, and the SUV showed up again. This time, we were alone as usual, and she decided she'd had enough. She told me to stay in the carport while she went to confront them. She walked halfway down the driveway but later told us she felt utter terror, like if she went any further, she would be dead. She turned around and went inside. Our family car was in the shop for some issue, so we were all stuck at home for the night. While my parents were home, my sister went outside to smoke. I went outside with her, and eventually, the SUV showed up. She told me to run inside and tell our father, which I did. My dad grabbed his gun and started walking down the driveway toward the SUV. The SUV sped down the road and peeled out onto the nearby highway. My dad, being a cop, noted the year, model, and distinguishing features. The scariest thing was that the license plate had been covered in duct tape. We never saw it again. When I was just 4 or 5 years old, my parents had recently separated. My mom lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. I had my own room but usually preferred to sleep in her bed when I stayed with her. Our 2 bedrooms were at the end of the hallway, directly across from each other. The apartment was on the first floor, and it was the middle of summer. My mom had a window open in her room, directly behind the bed above the headboard. One night, I woke up and saw our cat sitting in the door frame of my mom's room. Her door was open, and you could partially see into my bedroom. This was odd because our cat usually slept in bed with us. As I watched, the cat walked into my bedroom and meowed. I turned to wake up my mom. In the few seconds it took to wake her and ask what was wrong, we both looked back at the door frame. There was a man standing by my open door, making his way out of the bedroom. Somehow, my mother quickly picked me up and threw me out of the screen window. She followed right behind me, and we started screaming for help. Someone called 911. The police arrived but didn't find any signs of forced entry. The front door was unlocked, leading them to believe the man had exited that way. My mom insisted she had locked the door that night with the deadbolt and chain lock. About a week later, she was cleaning the kitchen and opened our water heater closet. Inside, she found a notebook with names and drawings, as well as a pair of gloves and some gum wrappers. The police were called again, but they could only speculate that the man had been hiding in our house until we fell asleep. One day, while doing my laundry, one of the basement lights blew out. My basement is divided into 2 areas by a wall and a door, separating the laundry room from the other side. To get upstairs, I have to leave the laundry room and walk through the dark part of the basement. The blown light was the only one on that side, making it very dark. I finished my laundry, dreading the walk through the dark basement. As I exited the laundry room and got halfway through the basement, I heard a loud cackle. It sounded like a witch's laugh, but deeper and hoarser, as if the witch had been smoking for 50 years. The sound was clear as day, right behind me. Without hesitation, I bolted for the stairs. I waited until my father got home to change the bulb. Since then, I haven't heard that cackle again, and I haven't told anyone in the house about it.
Subscribe.